All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you and welcome thank you for joining us to our August monthly community call. We're going to get started in just a little bit here. We'll let people get settled and logged in on all the different platforms. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We have a lot to cover today, so we'll get kicked off. Welcome for all of you joining us for the first time. Thank you. Tech for Palestine is a nonprofit incubator focused on starting and scaling initiatives for Palestinian liberation. And we do this through a very diverse community of members, volunteers, and supporters from all over the world, both within the tech community and beyond. If you're joining us again, thank you. We host monthly community calls and open it live. We talk about news happenings at T4P, what's happening in the tech world as it relates to Palestine, and we share information about our projects and initiatives. The call is being recorded and it's streamed live on all of our socials. If at any point in the conversation you have questions, please feel free, or comments, please feel free to drop them in the chat. We have folks monitoring questions and we will respond as soon as we can. To kick us off today, we have a number of speakers. So Paul is not going to be here, but we have Tom stepping in to share some updates on T4P as well as the incubator, as he normally does. Kate will be joining us to talk about membership and some events. Wes will share more about Palestine Dataset. We have Afzal, who will cover tech news and marketing, and Hamza to talk about his project, Memories from Palestine. And I'll share some volunteering updates at the end. We also have a survey, so we'd love to hear your feedback. If you have any feedback you'd like to share with us on how we can continue to improve this call and make it more meaningful, please take just a minute or two to complete the survey. We'll share the link here. We'll drop it in our socials, and we will also come back to it at the end. So with that, I'm going to pass it to Tom to talk about T4P's mission and vision and some of the work we're doing here.
Great, thank you, Azza. So yes, for those of you who don't know, we had an event in Brussels last June 6th, and while we were in Brussels, a group of us who've been with the organization for a long time got together for the first time, actually, all in person, and had the opportunity to strategize and organize. And we decided to use some of that time to come up with a vision and mission for Tech for Palestine. We've had vision and missions come and go over the last 2.5 years. But this is one that we're really working to just solidify and codify and advertise with. So this is not set in stone. To be clear, this is our current draft, and we are soliciting feedback from our membership, our community, the broader ecosystem, and now from you on this community call. So by all means, if you have any suggestions, recommendations, complaints, issues, let us know any way that you want to. You can use the contact management team channel on Discord. You can send an email to contact@techforpalestine.org. You can comment here on our live streams, whatever it takes. But here, what we have today, actually, can you go back to that slide? Sorry. So here it is. Our vision is a free Palestine and a tech industry that actively participates in liberation in a world where all people enjoy equal dignity, justice, and human rights. And our mission, we exist to liberate Palestine and transform the tech industry by developing new ethical technology, using our tech skills to build and scale the movement for Palestine, educating and mobilizing tech founders, executives, workers, and users, and pushing the tech industry toward liberatory and ethical practices, policies, and technologies. So what we tried to do was capture all of the work that we're currently doing and where we think our niche in the movement is. And this is what we've come up with. So yeah, please let us know your feedback. And with that, I believe I will hand it off to Kate.
Hello. Hey all, I'm Kate. For anyone who hasn't seen me before, I work on P4P fundraising and membership. And I'm going to talk about some of the cool event stuff that we have going on now, starting with the Tech for Palestine book club, which Tom has been running. So this is an ongoing community book club featuring conversations with authors that are exploring themes of Palestine, justice, identity, liberation, and collective transformation. The latest Tech for Palestine book club we have a recording, if you're interested and want to watch, was in July, and that was a live discussion with Miko Pellet on the general's son. So he shares his journey about growing up in one of Israel's most prominent military families to questioning the beliefs that he was raised with and becoming an advocate for justice and equal rights for Palestinians. The conversation explores themes of identity, history, accountability, and personal transformation, and live audience. So definitely check that out if that sounds interesting to you. And our next upcoming book club is going to be this one on September 2nd. We have a live discussion with Tom and Dr. Lara Sheehy on From the Clinic to the Streets, Psychoanalysis for Revolutionary Futures. And she's going to explore how psychoanalysis can help us understand the psychological impacts of oppression, colonial violence, and collective struggle, and how healing can move beyond the individual to become part of the broader movement for liberation. So very interesting one for anyone else who is a psych nerd like myself. So moving to Tech for Palestine roundtables. These are conversations that we have where we bring experts, researchers, campaigners, community members, different people together to explore issues that are at the intersection of technology, power, and Palestine. So this latest one that we had, which again, we have a recording, is Fighting the War Machine. From July, we had researchers and grassroots movements from Shadow World Investigations, the Mask Off Merce campaign, No Harbor for Genocide, and K9 Legal Action, coming together to look at how military supply chains are exposed and how corporations can be held accountable for their involvement in war crimes. So that discussion looks at a lot of how research can be turned into effective grassroots campaigns that target systems, logistics, and corporations, enabling the war machine. So another very cool one, and then we have one upcoming very soon on August 20th called Winning the Algorithm Wars. So this one's a conversation with digital rights advocates, policy experts, content creators, and campaign strategists working on the front lines of the battle over online speech and information. So we've got speakers including Moaz Hamza, Mona Shtea, Ezzeldine Dwedar, and Taisir Matluthi, hosted by Paul Nabil. And the roundtable will explore platform censorship and moderation, algorithmic amplification, misinformation, digital repression, and strategies for amplifying marginalized voices and challenging the forces that shape public discourse online. Definitely also very relevant for the digital world that we live in. So look for the registration link for that one, and registration link for the other book club coming up. And moving on to Occupied Tech Podcast. This I'm very excited about also. These are podcasts that we do in collaboration with so typically a conversation between Paul Bigger and someone else. So we just had an episode come out about Upscrolled, the world's fastest growing social media app. So anyone who didn't know, Upscrolled is officially the fastest growing social media app that has come into existence, scaling very rapidly to 5 million users at an early point. So that is very cool. If you want to kind of hear about that journey, then definitely check this podcast out. And we have another one that is coming up, not out yet, I believe, but this one will be about Apple's complicity. So keep an eye out for that as well. And yeah, definitely check out Tech for Palestine /events. You can see all of our stuff there. Okay, and switching over to a little introduction of our membership program, which is something that I work on. So for anyone who is not familiar, hasn't heard us talk about the membership program, this is where we're building initiatives internally, much like the incubator, where we bring in external organizations, nonprofits, businesses, research projects, et cetera, that exist external to T4P, building and scaling projects for Palestine. We are doing that internally now. So you can join membership, and we have a whole bunch of teams basically working on a huge variety of different projects. And you can also start your own team if you have an idea. We'll give you resources and strategic advice and help scale any initiative you have an idea for. Just to highlight a couple examples of some of these things that are very cool that we're building inside membership. We have an internships for students from Gaza team that just partnered with Phoenix Space to find internships for evacuated students from Gaza in the UK and Ireland. We have a new team, another new team, called Exposing Israeli Bonds. This one is creating a really nice website right now documenting all of the Israeli bonds purchased by government agencies with public funds to reveal that. And we also have some other teams working on research that is very cool. We have some doing research on Palestinian bias in the most common LLM models, testing hundreds of prompts across all of these different LLMs. And we also have some research going on about the complicity of 12 major tech companies. So very excited about all of those projects, and those are just some of the newer ones. There's a variety of marketing, engineering, events initiatives, all sorts of things. So if you're interested in joining up, you can go to techforpalestine.org/membership. That page, you have to direct link. It's not fully on the website yet, but you can still join. And you can also email that membership@techforpalestine.org with any questions. I'll be very likely to be the one seeing that. So if you want to send me any questions or even just jump on call if you don't really get it, you're like, what's going on? This sounds interesting, but I'm not sure, where I could fit in here. More than happy to jump on call and talk about it. You probably have a little bit of time and a skill set that could be used somewhere to do something good and exciting. So just something to keep in mind. And the membership, we have membership dues, and those go to supporting the different projects that we support. We have 25 advocacy projects within the T4P teams. That is not including other teams we have doing sort of initial support things for T4P marketing and things like that are also opportunities, and then also supports our 90 plus active projects in the incubator, which continues to grow. And for anyone who is in membership, we have these member meetups. So just highlighting, there's one of these happening tomorrow. If you are a member, please check out the calendar in the chat platform. And if you have time, then jump in and come chit chat with the other members. These are just informal conversations with people. Our topic for this week is, what initiative would you like T4P to start within the next 6 months? Or do you think would be interesting? So if you'd like to chit chat about that, then come join the meetup. All right, and I'm going to transition us over to Wes. So speaking of very cool member highlights, Wes has been working on something amazing, the Palestine Datasets project. So Wes joined T4P in January 2024. He's based out of Toronto, Canada, and he's going to tell us more about Palestine Datasets, which is something I think is really, really cool.
Awesome. Thanks, Kate. Yeah, thanks for having me. So yeah, basically, if you go to techforpalestine.org under the tools menu, or just our URL is data.techforpalestine.org, you'll find our project. And basically, yeah, started 2.5 years ago. A bunch of us in the community Discord were trying to figure out how to surface like hard to find data around what was happening in Gaza, because you can find daily casualty reports in their Telegram channel. Sometimes they'd be missing, hard to find sometimes the names list, and people were trying to do advocacy work around that. So it evolved from an initial idea of just an open source data set to one that was providing APIs and ways of getting that data in a more accessible way. And then it kind of evolved to more recently where we're trying to help with giving people ideas on how to use the data in their work. And so if you go to our website, you'll see under the examples page, like a bunch of great community examples, all the ones that have come to us. There's many out there that I think haven't reached out to let us know that they've used the data, but a lot of advocacy projects. We've gotten reach outs from congresswomen in the US. It's really kind of been eye-opening that once you kind of get everything in one location and you make it accessible, people can do a lot with it. And so our goal is still very much that, making it easy to use. We've expanded into the West Bank and Lebanon more recently. And we're looking at potentially going into a wider time frame, like not just like focusing after October 7th, but like putting it all in perspective. So if you're interested in participating, there's the Discord channel still. It's easy to access. Kate just mentioned the membership group that we're now more actively a part of and getting great support there. So if you join as a member, that's where we do most of our collaboration now. But yeah, you can open a GitHub issue if you're technically proficient, want to get into the code, or you want to have more of an eye on data quality. You want to help us with transliteration of names, that sort of thing. GitHub's great. Contact us page. You can email me. And yeah, I'd love to hear any feedback that the community has around this. So thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Wes. And thank you, Kate. Really cool work happening here. So thank you both. Now I'd like to transition to Avza, who will give us an update on current affairs and happenings and tech in the news. Hey, Avza.
Hey, Avza, thanks for the intro. Yes, we are going to talk about some things that happened in tech and also an update from one of our projects. Cisco. Yeah, we really need to talk about Cisco more often. When we say big tech, people usually think of companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Google. So the definition usually of big tech is like those big brands with a lot of users, billions of users on their platforms, right? My definition of big tech is a bit different. I usually define it as those tech companies who have their tentacles basically spread everywhere. And Cisco is one of these tech companies because Amazon is using Cisco, Microsoft is using Cisco, Meta is using Cisco, Google is using, like everyone. Your 4G, 5G network provider is using Cisco as well. So Cisco basically they build and provide hardware for network infrastructure. That's why we are all using their services. And because I believe that we need to talk about them more often, I was very happy that last month I saw on LinkedIn that one of their employees, she publicly announced that she was leaving the company because of unethical behavior and unethical company culture. So what she basically experienced is dozens of incidents in which it seems that Cisco has like an anti-Muslim and also an anti-Palestinian culture. joking about Palestinian suffering, joking about Muslims, about their culture, and things that we already know from organizations like BDS. For example, their complicity in apartheid. There are lots of contracts between Cisco and the Israeli military. To be more specific, Cisco is providing services for camera video surveillance of Palestinians in Jerusalem. So we already knew that's like this company is complicit in apartheid and even in war crimes. So that's why I thought we need to talk about them more often, but they're a bit hidden. You know, their tentacles are everywhere in tech, but they're hidden. And now finally someone of their own spoke up publicly on LinkedIn. I hope that more will follow. What we saw when this happened with Microsoft and Google and Amazon in the past, we saw like these organizations of activists coming up like no Azure for apartheid, no Amazon for apartheid. I haven't seen that yet for Cisco, but I hope it will come. Recently, someone joined the T4P team to work on extensive tech complicity reports, and Cisco is also on our agenda, so stay tuned. Then, yes, another interesting topic. We are going to talk about LLM poisoning. I didn't know that it exists. LLM poisoning, so for the ones who are not in tech, LLM, large language model, basically the stuff that we're using every day these days, ChatGPT, Cloud, Gemini, Thauda, for the people who are using the ethical one. So recently, Dropsite published an article in which they revealed that the former campaign manager of Donald Trump, and his name is Brett Parsill, if I pronounced that correctly. So he recently started up a company called Clock Tower X, funded by the Israeli government, with the task to create websites. And in this case, websites that are not targeted on humans, but on LLMs. So these websites, they produce a lot of content on these websites with Israeli propaganda. And the idea is that ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, that they get their information from these websites to influence general opinion. And it's not only a claim, because the people from Dropsite, they even tested it out. You can see it on the screen. I'm not sure if you can read it because it's a bit small. But when you ask questions about Israel, they indeed refer to these websites from Clock Tower X, and it's unbelievable. It's like they're investing approximately $4 million per month in creating content on these websites to influence these LLMs. So they tried all of them: Gemini, Perplexity, Cloud, Copilot, and ChatGPT. And they confirmed that these LLMs are referring to these websites, especially three, so Gemini, Copilot, and Perplexity. So those ones are the ones who are referring to these propaganda websites a lot. So yeah, a lot of reasons to switch to Thauda. Now we are going to talk about something positive. So Upscrolled, if you're new here, I think Kate already said something about Upscrolled, but this is like our own incubator project with more than 5 million of users, an alternative to Instagram, TikTok, and X. And they launched a super nice feature last month, which they call Scroll Packs. What it does basically is that when you have an Upscrolled account, you can create a scroll pack, and you can put your favorite accounts in these scroll packs, so that it's easier for your followers to find the accounts that you are following and that you like. So in our case, for example, if you go to T4P's Upscroll profile and click on scroll packs, you will see that there is a scroll pack called Our Stuff. And if you click on that one, you can follow me, Paul, Azza, Tom, and anyone else of the team, like just in one click. But more importantly, if you click on our projects, You can find all our projects, incubator projects, who are also having a profile on Upscrolled, and simply follow all these projects in one click. But also another case, if you own an Upscrolled account and you are into food bloggers, you can basically create like one scroll pack with all food vloggers that you like, so that it's easier to find for your audience. But yeah, I think you get the concept, and I really hope that you're going to follow our projects right now, because I had to enter the names like 90 times, one by one. So yeah, please go to Upscrolled and follow all the projects.
Great. Thank you so much, Afzal. Great updates. All right. So now I'd like to transition. We'll bring Tom to the stage. And actually, maybe Afzal, before we lose you, oh, we lost him. There is a question in the Discord. So yes, I would like to collaborate regarding Cisco. They're compiling a list of backbone infosecurity companies for the goal of creating ethical compliance scoring scheme. So what's the best way to contact, who should they contact if they want to discuss Cisco?
I think it's easy if you contact me. I mean, very cool that you're offering your help, because yeah, it's I think we can achieve more if we do it together. So it's not me personally who's working on this; it's our colleague Alex, who's not here, but I can make the connection. I'm just not sure what the right way is to connect. You can find me everywhere: Discord, Mattermost, Upscrolled.
Yeah, perfect. They're on the Discord as well. So yeah, why don't we drop Afzal's Discord ID so you guys can get in touch. Thank you so much, Afzal.
Thanks.
All right. All right. So now we'd like to welcome Tom to the stage to give us an update on Tech for Palestine's incubator projects.
Great. Thank you, Azza. So for anybody who doesn't know, Tech for Palestine is an incubator for advocacy projects. So we have about 94, I think 94 or 95 projects in the incubator today. Most of them are nonprofits started by people in the movement or who want to be in the movement. A few of them are for-profits. A few of them are wildly, popular out there in the world and well-known. And then a lot of them are less well-known, primarily because they're serving a niche or just not something that's very sexy like Upscrolled or Thara. But what we do as the incubator, if anybody's unfamiliar, a tech incubator typically invests in startups and then asks for some equity in that startup. And then if the startup is really successful, the incubator, gets paid back their investment by way of valuable equity. We don't do any of that at Tech for Palestine. At this point, we are just supporting, not with funding, although we do offer small monthly grants for operational expenses. We're not doing major investments in startups and trying to make money. So we are investing our time and resources and energy and to provide strategic advice, marketing help, social media, connections to the broader ecosystem, mentorship. We have a big pool of volunteers, just education, information, and community. And from what I've heard from a lot of people, it's really the advice and the community and the volunteers that are sort of the backbone of the incubator. Those are the things that really provide a significant amount of obvious value. And then, of course, the other stuff provides value as well. But a lot of people, especially people who are first time starting an initiative and don't have a lot of experience with leading something, they get a lot of benefit from our guidance. So yeah, with that, I will talk about a few of the new incubator projects that have joined us in the last month. These are Gaza Price Watch, TBD, that's not actually the name of the project, it is to be determined, Court-Appoint, and Historical Record for Palestine. And in fact, two of these projects, Gaza Price Watch and Court-Appoint, are led by individuals in Gaza. So really glad to be able to support those initiatives. And so for more details, oh, I see there are not more details on the slide. So let me just tell you the more details. So Gaza Price Watch is a real-time price tracking platform for businesses in Gaza. And essentially what they do is they go around and basically crowdsource current price information on goods and services that are in Gaza, and make that information transparent on their website so that people know, if they're looking for bananas or they're looking for batteries, they can go on this website and they can price compare across the various outlets within Gaza and find out like where are the best deals, and then preferably go and shop there. So it's combining community reporting and technology to reduce exploitation and improve access to fair pricing. TBD is a social media platform. In their application, they said to think of it as sort of a child of something like Instagram and CNN. It's dedicated solely to journalists, and it was created in response to Palestinian journalists specifically being targeted and fired from major networks. So it recognizes that people are turning to independent news organizations founded through social media. And so they only verified journalists are able to post there, and every post is clearly labeled as verified true or false or unverified. And that is still a work in progress. I don't believe that there's a beta available yet, but I'm sure it will come soon. And then there is Court-Appoint. Court-Appoint, I wasn't really fully aware of the AI economy around the world, but there's a tremendous amount of annotation, evaluation, transcription, and linguistic work that goes into training AI. And this work is often pieced out to people, a lot of people in the global South and around the world. But people, especially in conflict areas, have a really difficult time getting into this work and getting paid for it, just due to complications with the vetting pool and financial systems access and that kind of thing. So this is another one where the individual who's building it is based in Gaza and was a CEO of a medical company and which he lost to the war. And so he's had all of these challenges himself in trying to do this kind of work. And so he's trying to build something that can help other people work through these issues. And last but not least, we have the Historical Record for Palestine. This is an online archive to make a variety of primary source documents related to Palestine accessible. During our interview with the founder, we asked him, how is this different from the archive that UNRWA, for example, is already managing, and the difference is that every document is historically contextualized with referenced annotations and images with the goal of surfacing events and people not commonly known or understood to be related to each other and to Palestine. So the idea is that it helps to illustrate the global importance of the fight for Palestinian liberation. So pretty excited about this project. And with that, I am going to transition to Hamza Siraj, who's working on one of our incubator projects, Memories from Palestine, which he actually brought to the Brussels conference and demonstrated. So really interesting project, and looking forward to hearing Hamza talk about it. So welcome, Hamza.
Yep. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everyone. So yeah, let's start from that slide if you want, 'cause, that's how I have it structured in my head. So as Tom mentioned, I am Hamza, and I am from Jerusalem originally. But an important part of the story is to mention that I was born, raised, and educated, and I've lived the majority of my life outside of Palestine. So I consider myself from the diaspora, even though I happen to be one of the very few people who are privileged enough to be able to travel to Palestine, and even have the privilege to have spent a good amount of years in Palestine as well. And why I mention this is because this is the core of what I try to do, or what we try to do in this project. If you can please go to the next one. So growing up in the diaspora, you always, or at least I always identified as a Palestinian, and I was very proud of that culture. But I realized I didn't understand it, or I didn't understand exactly what that part of my identity is. And even though I was able to go to Palestine on a yearly basis, but you know how it's like this is your uncle, this is your cousin. You go on a few visits here and there, and it's not really enough, I would say, to understand or comprehend what Palestine is, or what the situation is. So it wasn't really until life has played its way and sent me to Palestine. And that happened at a young age. I was 18. I just finished high school, and I had big dreams of becoming a stand-up comedian or an actor. And then Birzeit happened, and I went to Birzeit for 2 years, and that completely changed me in ways that I only now start to understand, and start to reflect and see how I was actually changed. But nevertheless, I had to leave Palestine again, and I had to continue my education in the Gulf, and that's where I met a lot of my friends. One of them is a co-founder with me, Bara, and um, you see, the problems that I witnessed was not only that um, I wasn't, or the people who are in diaspora are not really able to comprehend their full identity, because they lack the opportunity to be in Palestine, and to actually to create physical memories in Palestine, to understand that a part of their identity. But also, like, the more that I spoke about it, and the more that I was understanding it, and I wanted to always talk about it. And it was a tough time from 2010 to 2023. It was a lot going on in Palestine, and on the ground. So I always talked about it, and there was always this look in everybody's eyes who are at least Palestinian and were not so lucky to be able to go there. They hated me. They hated me, and they wanted that, and they just wished they could go to Palestine and witness all this, and have the opportunity to experience the country for themselves. And it was this look in their eyes that really, uh, you know, always I always felt responsible. Like I wanted to solve that problem, and I wanted to find a way for these people to be able to go. And that's exactly what Memories from Palestine tries to do. So we have a few problems. First is obvious, and it's people cannot go to Palestine or visit their homeland. The second is the generational distance from Palestine. And what I mean by that is that we have now second and third generations of Palestinians being born in diaspora, and those people's imagination of Palestine is really like, the best that we can say is distorted or scattered. And what we tend to do is that they uh, inherit these stories either from their parents or from grandparents, and most of the rendering is left to be done on the inside their heads, and they have to stitch together the images and the videos and the stories and try to make a resemblance of what being in Palestine is like. And really, media isn't enough, no matter how strong it can get. And the third is that those places that those people wish to visit are under constant threat. So, like during the period of my time in Palestine, I could witness these places really like get more and more restricted, especially in the latest years. Either they become just more restricted, people won't be allowed to visit it, or they're confiscated, or they're not allowed to be preserved and conserved, and hence leave for deterioration and to just get erased over time. And the erasure of Palestinian narrative. And what I mean by that is that even if you happen to go and you visit, for instance, Jerusalem, it all depends on the tour guide that takes you on tour, and you can walk the streets of Jerusalem and stand on the rooftops and visit the sites, and you can have a whole different narrative and a whole different story, and it's like the Palestinians were never here, and that's also being slowly erased. And Palestinian tour guides are less and less allowed to take tours in the old city, and less allowed to practice, and thus the Palestinian narrative is slowly just fading away. So what we try to do with Memories from Palestine is to first give access to the diaspora, to the homeland, and in a way create a travel machine that can take those people to Palestine so they can witness it and understand that part of their identity better, even if like just standing there for 5 minutes to witness a sunset from Palestine's coast could really help you understand a lot more than a lot of reading and scrolling and looking at media can do. And the second is to preserve these Palestinian sites that are slowly fading away in a way that to document them somehow, to have at least a record of how they look now, not how they used to look or what they used to be like, because we have enough of that. We have a lot of associations working on documenting what the 1948 was and what the 1967 was, and how everything in Palestine prior or after that happened to be, and what villages were depopulated, but rather to connect with what's the situation now, I think is also important, and I think that people should have a chance to witness it. And the third is to keep Palestinian narrative alive, as I said, through preserving that Palestinian narrative and story in the touristic places and in the historical sites, at least. And hence, with all that, build an immersive archive. And what we mean by immersive is that it's not something that you can, I mean, optimally now, it's all you can do. Go to a screen and look around, or like look at photos and videos and read some text, but rather something that can teleport you to Palestine. And that's what we are trying to build here. And how do we do that currently is, if you can go to the next slide, is basically we just launched our platform. And even though the platform does exactly what I don't want you guys to do, it is a desktop version that you can look at from your screen and just look around. But we do have something that maybe is not that common, which is we adopt virtual 360 tours, and which allows you to look around, which allows you to get more sense of the place rather than a curated or framed shot. So it's more very natural, and what we have there was basically some historical sites, some cities and some landscapes and some places from Palestine that we intend to keep documenting and keep going. We have a team in Palestine who are basically my friends working in Palestine, and whenever they have the chance to or the opportunity, they go to a site and they document it and we upload it. And the second way, and it's the most fun and the best way to deliver our content, is through virtual reality exhibitions, and that's what Tom was talking about. That we went to Brussels with, basically just me and my VR, and they just showed some people around. And I've been doing this like for quite some time now, for a few years. And even though it's very modest, and I just you know, pop up at an event and I have my VR and I have this small sign that says "Teleport to Palestine," it's always been something that people like immensely interact with, and we get a lot of emotions, and a lot of people cry, and a lot of people mention how needed this is, and this keeps us going, and this makes us want to even grow this more. So we really want to kind of take this to all the Palestinian diaspora populations around the world. And if you can go to my next slide. And that's exactly what we would like you guys to help us with. Connect us if you happen to know a population of diaspora that would want to experience a virtual return. Connect with us, help us host it, and let's bring Palestine to all these people. Follow us on Upscrolled. We don't do any other social media, and we're admittedly not very strong present. Like we don't have that much of a strong presence on media, on social media, but we'll get there. And help us build, help us grow, and tell us what you think. Thank you all for listening, and I would like to thank a few people. Bara, who is my co-founder and someone who has never been to Palestine, but he's been my target test audience for a long time, and he has always believed in the idea, and I joined from the start. You have Mustafa, who is a Tech for Palestine mentor, who has really helped me a lot through um, finding a way to make this into a startup, and that's always been a problem that I had with the idea. Even though I had the idea for a long time, most incubators would just not understand a startup with an impact without clear ROI numbers or financial modeling, and really that's the last thing that we thought about. And that's where Tech for Palestine has been a huge help, because they understand that a startup can have valuable impact, even though like its financials and business models don't make sense. So yeah, thank you guys for listening, and I hope to connect with all of you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hamza. Thank you for sharing your personal story. Really beautiful. And yeah, as a Palestinian in the diaspora myself, and having never been to Palestine, I'm super excited to see this come to life. And yeah, hopefully we could also see this go live and have these virtual exhibits show up in cities around the world. So thank you so much for sharing, and we wish you the best of luck. I think we had a couple of questions. If there are any questions for Hamza, please feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll keep them here for a little bit. There were a couple of questions that have come in. One about a group called Friday HQ that has a Zakat hiring fund for people affected in the region, where they provide subsidized salaries for folks in Gaza, and they're asking, yeah, if potentially that's something that we could set up. So that sounds like a great potential idea if someone wants to run with that and look at kind of creating an initiative or a project around that. Yeah, it's definitely a great idea that I think we'd be open to exploring if we have the right leadership behind it to run with this. The other question that came up when we were talking about how you know, what's happening with poisoning AI. There was a question about Thora and how does Thora prevent that type of poisoning. And so, given they use an open source model, so we're going to check. We don't see Hani or Saeed on the call. We're going to check with them. But I also encourage you, if you're in the Discord, they have a public channel for Thoda. Definitely drop it there. They're very active there. But we will look into that question and give an update on that. All right. Thank you again. If there are no other questions, then I'm going to keep rolling. We have 10 minutes left. I'll give a quick update on volunteering. So really, volunteers and our members are what's fueled Tech for Palestine's success. Our project leaders, I mean, everyone in this community has done an amazing job. There's lots of ways that you can help us. You could join as a member. Kate talked about that. While we haven't officially launched that globally, there are ways to get in as a member. You can join as a volunteer and help on very specific roles that we have posted on our website. And if you're kind of tight on time and or just maybe have one-off time here and there, and you're interested in kind of short, impactful actions that you can take when you are free, we have a group called Mighty Missions. We have a group on Discord, on Signal, and if you're a member in our Mattermost membership channel, where we post on a regular basis small actions that you can take, and they change on a regular basis. So those are all ways you can get involved. We do have some current needs, very project-specific needs. These change regularly. Check our website for full details. We have a lot more information about all of these roles and more posted on our website. I'll quickly run through a couple of them. Tax and Compliance Initiative. This is an incredible initiative. Already, they've uncovered 700 tax violations involving charities just in Canada alone, and they're expanding into the UK, the EU, and Australia. They're looking for researchers to help support their work in identifying potential tax violations and compliance issues, so we can hold these charities accountable. We're also looking for tax and accounting specialists that have specialized knowledge and can help as we're uncovering some of these violations. Social media managers, this is something we're always in need of. We have several projects that need support. Find a Protest, Tribex, Justice 48, as well as T4P internally. There's more information on our website about each of the different roles. So if you're interested, you can check them out. You could learn a little bit more about the specifics needed. You could learn about the project and the specifics needed to see if it's something that you can support. Justice 48 also is looking for grant writers to help them sustain all of their work. And so if you have time and the expertise, many of these roles really just require a few hours a week. They require consistency and someone that's reliable and will follow through, but you're really looking at a few hours a week that can make all the difference to many of our projects. Migrate Off for Sell is also looking for a marketing specialist to help them amplify the work they're doing, help facilitate migrations off of Vercel, and just spread the word about the work they're doing. TribeX, they have been challenging big tech, and they are working on a game simulation to kind of help gamify and showcase what they're trying to do. So if you're a game developer and this sounds interesting, this could be a great opportunity to bring important work to life in a really cool way. And then finally, I'll call out some additional needs that we have internally at T4P with our online events team. So the team behind these community calls, as well as all of the events we talked about earlier, the book club, the roundtable, like all of these things we host, we do so, and it takes a lot of effort behind the scenes, everything from logistics setup to technical support, operational support, moderation support. So if this is interesting and you have the time, again, a lot of these just take a couple hours a week, and you could sign up for events based on your availability. But we'd love to have a bench of talent that we can grow and build and have as reliable resources to continue to allow us to host all of the online events that we do. If you're interested in any of these, please reach out. There are a number of ways you can do that. You can go to our website. You can join as a member. You can join as a volunteer. You could apply to specific positions. If there's something specific you have in mind, you can email us at volunteering@techforpalestine.org and let us know what you're interested in, and we'd love to get you in touch with the right people. If you don't have the time to help, there are still other ways to support us. You could join as a member, join the community, join discussions. You can donate if you'd like. We are still on Discord and have over 10,000 people on Discord. You can also follow all the different incubator projects on Discord as well. So if you have a particular interest in an initiative or what someone's doing, you can join their channel and be in direct touch with the project leadership team there. We talked about feedback at the beginning in case you joined us late. If you have any feedback about this call or what you'd like to see on future calls, please complete this brief survey. It should take you a minute or two maximum, and we'd love to hear your input. And follow us on all of the, whatever platform you're on, that we're likely there as well. So that's a great way to stay abreast of everything that's happening, hear about our events. If you miss this call, or if this call isn't at a great time for you, we always record it and we post it on our socials. So lots of ways to get involved and engaged. I believe there was, if there are any other questions, please drop them. I think there was a question for Hamza. How would we go about hosting and exhibiting or showing this? So that's lovely. Hamza said connect with him directly. So if you are interested, and we'll drop this in all of the channels, Hamza@memoriesfrompalestine.com. He would love to chat more and bring this live everywhere we can. If there are any other questions, I'll ask our team to let me know. Otherwise, our next event, our next monthly call will be September 9th. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you there. All right, no other questions. Thank you again. Thank you to all our speakers. Thank you to the online team for hosting this. And thank you all for joining us. We'll see you in September. Have a good one.